What's up, good people? It's your boy C. Wit from Boys to Gentlemen. This is another video in the series of my journey to healing from sexual assault. So, this is kind of a part two of the prior video with a little bit more focus on how sexual assault molestation made me view other females. One of the biggest struggles that I experienced was the double standard. It made me frustrated that girls seem to find protection from sexual assault. It made me frustrated that when a girl did something that made you feel a certain way, you couldn't get any type of salvation. You couldn't get any type of safe haven for how you were feeling or how you were experienced. And it was just frustrating with that. You know, my personal experiences and the responses to what happened, there was an anger for females that bred into that double standard that really made me far less sensitive to some of the experiences and things that they were having, because a lot of their complaints was met with, you know, but y'all do it too. Oh, y'all do this. Oh, this is double standard. It was always this war, instead of really being able to sit back and say, hey, I get that. I think, man, that's rough. Instead of it being a tit for tat or this or that, why couldn't it be what happened to you shouldn't have happened? What happened to me shouldn't have happened? Not because something happened to me, I'm gonna be more insensitive to something that happened to you. Often that was the case. So my view for females was extremely perverted. The judgment, I may not have spoken it, but the judgment for how promiscuous girls was heavy. You know, it was a lot of females that I judged because they matched excuse me, they matched the model of some of my abusers. They matched the tenacity, the aggressiveness. They matched some of the behaviors, the attitudes that a lot of my abusers had. So that bled over to thinking that once a female was doing that, she had the same action. She was doing the same things as the women that had abused me. And that really made me be kind of slanted in my views. But again, my struggle was I had a different side. I had an extreme love, affirmation, and respect for females. Those two things were constantly at war. It was more socially acceptable to show the loving, kind, sensitive aspect of how I felt for girls and for women. But that monster inside and that constant war probably was beyond the level of anxiety or stress that I can explain, because I was mad. I was angry, and I didn't view these females as in a positive light. I didn't view them in a way that was helpful. I viewed them as adversaries. I viewed them as somebody from a place of jealousy that could be protected, that could say no to sex and that be okay. I felt trapped not only by the societal pressures of being a male, I felt trapped for, oh, this is disgusting, and you touch and I have to go with it, because if I say that I don't like that you touched me, I don't like that you forced yourself on me, I'm weak. And the fact, even though it wasn't the female's fault, the fact that that was present made me view females in a different way that kept me from really learning and hearing on an inside level. I got the knowledge, and again, this might be new to a lot of the people that I know, because it might not match what you know of me. But just being perfectly honest, this is what I was dealing with inside, even as I went through all of these experiences. So for the sake of you viewing me a different way, I just want to be honest in what was going on. And I feel like me not being able to really talk about it. Me not being able to address it is what allowed it to come out in such different, it was such a subtle way. It came out in levels of not understanding or respecting certain elements. And as I got older, I got better at not allowing that mindset to take over, but it was still there. And it was hard and it was pressing. And I feel like that kept me from being even more understanding and more loving in different relationships that I could have been in and helpful. But ultimately, the two areas that really break that is when I start working with kids and my wife right now. But, you know, working with kids, it's, my heart bleeds for them. It really does when I see some of the things that they're trying to navigate and some of the struggles that they're trying to overcome. And that's where it really hits to me of what if I could have been more open and honest? How many other females could I have made a genuine connection with? How many women would I have been comfortable coming and talking to? And how many other young men could I have saved? How many other young men could I have given the opportunity to steer away from some of these society mindsets if I had been strong enough to say, hey, bro, I know what society tells you. That shouldn't have happened to you. She shouldn't have touched you. It's not okay. You don't have to play the boys will be boys. You don't have to be grateful for your assault. That was sexual assault that happened to you. And because I didn't have the ability to do that, I didn't have the strength, it kept me from being healthy enough to be effective in that same element, to be a better advocate for the young ladies that were suffering. You know, even in my experience, a lot of my abusers were being molested, even at the time that they were molesting me. And that shift of power and that desire and things of that, not trying to excuse anything, but it explains why you did what you did to me. When you are going through that and you want your power back, you want to know that you're not the only one suffering this, you don't want to feel helpless, it's understandable, but we got to stop. And that's the goal with what I'm doing right now. I want to gain healing. I want to bring awareness, but I also want to make sure that we are focused more on healing than hunting. I'm not trying to go out there and push this narrative that, you know, oh, these women need to be held accountable for what it's doing. That's not the focus right now. I'm not even anywhere close or remotely close to that level, because we need to heal as young men. So, you know, specifically, if I turn this to the young men right now, we need to heal before we start dating these girls. We need to heal before we start talking about being the heads of families. We need to heal just because it's going to allow us to actually function and stop lying. And if we're going to tear down this rape culture, it's going to start with us understanding that how we are beginning to heal is going to be how somebody else's daughter is going to be treated. How about how somebody else's mother is going to be protected and viewed? It's going to take us healing if we're going to talk about really representing in the society. So me, you know, again, getting back to how I view females, that's how it was directly dealt with. And I really want to get more into the point of being honest about that. So I'm not giving off this image of, oh, I've just been all happy-go-lucky with everything that was going along with it. But what I am trying to say is there's an ugly side that not many people knew about, and it was still present, and that affected how I interacted in places. And that's what we want to start to address and deal with. So thank you again. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Share these videos. Let's have these conversations, because I feel like this is a step that we're going to have to be able to really start an environment where we can start to protect our babies. I love y'all. Hey, this has got me all in my head, all of my feelings. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for your feedback and your responses. But let's keep this moving. Let's keep going with it. From boys to gentlemen, I love y'all.